a whole new way of learning. This lesson is about a day at the lake of the first 5 presidents of the United States of America. It's President's Day at the lake. Let's have some fun. The day began with the sun shining brightly over the lake. A dazzling play of colorful lights danced along the crashing waves. The birds sang out, "Today will be no ordinary day." Already, every molecule in the air was pulsating and dancing, waiting anxiously for the adventure to begin. Reality check. They were all about to share an odd reality. George was the first to arrive at the lake because he lived nearby. What had possessed George to bring his laundry to the lake was anyone's guess. George had gotten up before the break of dawn and picked a ton of red, delicious apples from his apple trees. He had the idea to gift them to his friends. For some strange reason, George thought he could wash his military uniforms in the lake and have them dried and put away before his friends arrived. Not paying attention, George had mistakenly tossed his military uniforms on top of the basket of red, delicious apples. He emptied the basket into the lake. Shocked, George waded into the lake, trying furiously to recollect the floating red apples. George lost his balance and went down into the sea of red. He came up with a red, delicious apple in his mouth. By now, soaked and confused, George began to laugh at himself. Then he playfully began to play the game of bobbing for apples. George had lost track of time. He had forgotten that the former presidents that he had invited to join him in an outing by the lake would soon arrive. John arrived to see the shocking sight of George standing in the lake, surrounded by a ton of red apples and his military uniforms. George had a red, juicy, delicious apple in his mouth when John made eye contact with him. John waved at George, embarrassed. John quickly excused himself to go to the John. While in the John, John saw the orange Bible in a basket and opened it. Out popped Bible Bird, who had been taking a nap between the pages. Both were startled, staring face to face. Bible Bird regained his composure, saying, "Hello, Johnny, my boy. Fancy meeting you here." Bible Bird had long known John. In fact, he has been monitoring his life since birth, because it was long known that the young lad would one day become President of the United States. But Bible Bird and his companion Bible Boy were always careful never to reveal their presence, so this meeting was quite unplanned. The moment was quite uncomfortable, to say the least. John, sitting on the John, became very uncomfortable, face to face with the strange talking orange bird. The only thing John thought to do was close the orange Bible. He did so and watched the orange bird slip away from his view. John exited the John very quickly. John, hurrying, lost his balance and bumped into his old pen pal, Thomas Jefferson, heading for the lake. He had just arrived. Thomas had just had a strange encounter himself with a yellow cat that ran across his feet as it scurried toward the lake and disappeared like a mirage into the stream of sunlight between the trees. Both longtime pen pals looked at each other and wondered if he dared to tell the other what he had just seen. Both decided to avoid the appearance of insanity and left the matter alone. Perhaps it was a trick of the sunlight or the remoteness of the lake. Jefferson's neighbor's son also had two strange cats named Tomcat and Jiffy Cat. Yellow Cat was very familiar with both Tomcat and Jiffy Cat. She had chased the two cats through Jefferson's yard many times. Jefferson had been spared many attacks from these two troublesome cats. He never knew that Yellow Cat had spared him many scratches by chasing the cats away. James Madison, taking another route to the lake, froze in place as he watched quite a strange sight. He caught a glimpse of a green dog chasing a yellow cat as both blended into the green brushes along the lake. Then James came face to face with a mad dog foaming green jam from the corners of his snarling mouth and sharp, angry green teeth. James thought he was a goner until out from the brushes rushed the strange-looking green dog. The green dog jumped between James and the mad dog. The crazed mad dog was even more startled than James. Fearfully, the mad dog scampered off, dripping green jam along the brushes. James had finally caught a glimpse of the green dog that had followed him all his life and knew more about him than he knew about himself. Now he realized that the green dog was his guardian and had saved his life. A small blue boat waded toward the shore. Inside was James Monroe, rowing towards the shore. But the blue boat was surrounded by floating jars of blue jam. Some had spilled out onto the water, turning the waves into a floating blue jelly mat. James could not see the more unimaginable sight below his little blue boat. The four other presidents' mouths fell agape at the sight of the large blue elephant underneath the little blue boat. The blue elephant was actually holding up the little blue boat in his massive trunk. James had thrown overboard the gifts of blue jam intended for his friends in order to keep the little blue boat from sinking. James never saw the blue elephant beneath the thick mat of blue jam. The little blue boat, quickly filling up with water, would have sunk and drowned the president had Blue Elephant not been there to save the day. By the time James Monroe made it to the shore, all five presidents looked at each other and, without speaking a single word, turned around and headed away from the strange lake. The strange day at the lake ended with all five of the unusual Memory Rainbow superhero animals floating above the lake, exchanging stories about their face-to-face adventures with their lifelong charges. Appleboy wondered, why was George Washington washing a ton of his uniforms in the lake? Bible Bird piped in, yeah. And why was Johnny Boy Adams reading the orange Bible sitting on the John? Yellow Cat, amused, added, did you guys see Tomcat and Jiffy Cat chasing Thomas Jefferson through his yard? Green Dog chimed in, I got there just in time to save James Madison from his neighbor's son's mad dog, foaming green jam from his mouth. Blue Elephant, who had saved the day, simply said, I was just shocked to see James Monroe rowing a boat dripping blue jam into the lake. It turned out to be quite an adventurous outing at the lake called Strange. The end. Now you should have no problem remembering our first 5 U.S. presidents. Subscribe to our new Memory Rainbow Academy channel on YouTube and visit our website and blog at memoryrainbow.com. Never miss a lesson on developing your photographic memory. See you soon.